Good morning. All right. I am on here not to do the last lesson. I'm on here to let you know two things. One is that I've been studying a lot, and today was the down day. No makeup, haven't had done my hair, etc. Been doing laundry, but I've been studying a lot to get the next plan, get the next session going for y'all, which I will reveal next week. I don't necessarily need you to get a book or anything because there are a few books that I've been reading on that subject. So, uh, but believe me, it's a good one. Okay, so that's one thing. And that's what I did yesterday. Hours of reading, studying, highlighting, marking. This is going to be chapter one, it's going to be chapter two, etc. Um, and today I thought about giving you the last chapter of our shoulder to shoulder book. Um, but I decided not to. And this is the number two reason is because today is Good Friday. There is a lot of good in today. Um, Last night, I did participate in the Passover meal, and what it was all about with the Israelites being saved out of slavery, etc. And it just sank in with me that God is forever faithful. He's forever faithful in His word. He's true to His word. He's faithful in His love. Who He is love for us. Um, all for the plan of salvation. And if we go back in time, we understand that Jesus went to trial yesterday. Um, so the whole thing is this: in 3 days, everything took place in 3 days. When He did go to trial, they said a lot of things about Him that were true. And yet people were like, that he's a liar, crucify him. And they instead took Barnabas to be released, and all that Jesus said that he was true, and they still wanted to crucify him. I can't help but think, would I be the one to be in the crowd saying crucify him, or would I be the one saying no, no, no? He is who he says he is. And before they took him down that Via Dolorosa, that means the way of the pain. Before he walked that carrying his own cross, he went through so much. The movie of the Passion really does show a lot of what Roman culture was like back then, of the beating and the scoffing, the spitting, what they did to his body. I get a paper cut and I'm like, ow. They spit on him, and he sat there and took it because he knew, when he was in Garden of Gethsemane, he asked God, his Father. He said, Father, is there any other way? Because he knew what he would have to go through. And then all the courage he had in him, and he said, nevertheless. Let your will be done, knowing what they were going to do to him. Nevertheless, we women, we don't grow beards really, right? Some women do. Lots of whiskers, etc. But when you stop to think about a man with a full beard and getting it pulled out of your skin, we women, we're like plug, 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 and it hurts. They were yanking it out of his face. Not strand by strand, they were getting handfuls and yanking it out. They ridiculed him. They mocked him. They spit on him. And they shoved that crown of thorns in his head. Not little roses thorns. The big heavy duty ones. The big long thick ones. Right through his skin, all around his head. He was hurting so bad. His body was hurting from the beating, the beating, the beating, the beating. The ripping of his flesh. And they still made him take his cross all the way down the Via Dolorosa, all the way up to that hill. So I did a little research. The crosses back then sometimes were an actual T cross, they were an actual T. Some of them was just the bar across that they would then mound onto this part of it. This part alone, just this one, was anywhere between 80 to 120 pounds. Let alone this one plus this one. My Jesus was strong. He was fit. And he struggled because he was so weak. He had lost a lot of blood already. When he got up that hill, more mocking. It stripped him for humiliation. You know that the 3 crosses were outside of the gate of that city so that anyone passing by would see, this is what we do to criminals. Don't think about committing a crime in our city. It was a showcase. It was on display. The nails. I remember having a thumbtack. People call them push pins. I grew up calling them thumbtacks. I was playing with one of all things. I remember I was a little kid and I was playing with one. And in the playing with it, I stabbed myself, and it went through this way. Oh, the pain. Through my skin, this little. In comparison to what Jesus suffered, getting it right in the center, both hands, and in his feet. And sometimes I think, God, why did it have to be that? If it were just a sock in the face, I would have said, oh no, don't do that to my Jesus. But it went through all of that. Loss of blood. You know, when you have when you have a loss of blood, I don't know how many of you have ever experienced that. I did. There was a time when, because of this cancer, I didn't know why I was so weak, so dizzy. I even went to work. I drove that way, going to work, walking along the walls and with my head down, trying to focus in at work. That morning, I had gone to my doctor, and she herself personally called me. And she says, "Where are you?" I said, "I'm at work." And she said, first time I had ever heard this word, "Your hemoglobin level is dangerously low." And I was like, what is that? My who ba 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 bee ba level? What the what level? It was at 5.5. That's dangerously low for anybody, male or female, regardless of age. She says, get yourself now to the emergency room and let them know what I just said. 5.5. Write this down. Hemoglobin level 5.5. And after a bunch of tests, they found out I was internally bleeding. I didn't know. The cancer had eaten, one of the tumors had eaten through. Head of the pancreas, the bottom of the stomach, and the beginnings of the upper intestine. I was losing a lot of blood. Normally, a woman should be at anywhere between 9 and 11 on a hemoglobin level. I was at 5.2. When you do a blood transfusion, it's because you've hit 7. I was at 5.5. I tell you something, that was nothing compared to what Jesus went through. That was a drop in the bucket, y'all. It was a drop in the Red Sea. of what he went through. He lost all of his blood. He was pale. He was a human. He was pale. My friend came over and saw me, and she says, "Lorena, your face has zero color and your lips are gray. Like you have a tinge of gray in your skin on your face." Lightheaded, dizzy, weak. And I remember thinking, this is horrible. This is absolutely horrible. And then that following Easter, I said, that was nothing compared to what Jesus went through. The head on collision, the drunk driver hitting us head on, and I was the driver. This is nothing compared to what Jesus went through. And what hits home all the time is that he did it for me. He did it for you. Me, faulty me with issues, me with problems, me with flaws, me. If he had just got a splinter being a carpenter, that would have been more than enough for me. Sorry, God, I'm sorry. I would have repented because I know what splinters, how they hurt. This is what he went through. Today is Good Friday because he did it for our good. And come Sunday, oh, Sunday, after he was in the tomb, they laid him to rest. It was a borrowed tomb. When a person had posted on Facebook, and she or he, I can't remember who it was that posted it. They said, "What do you think about when you first hear the name Joseph?" And I thought, what do you mean? Which Joseph? So I wrote in there, I said, which Joseph? Joseph, Jesus' earthly father? Joseph, the coat of many colors Joseph that got sold into slavery from his brothers that hated him? Or Joseph, the one who loaned Jesus his tomb? He had that tomb ready for when he passed away, and he loaned it to Jesus. That Joseph. I never did get a clarification of which Joseph that person was meaning. But all three of them are profound, right? They have a story, have a good story. But today is Good Friday. And in the ugliness of what Jesus went through, he did it all for our good. That's what my take is on this name of Good Friday is. That's my take of what this day is, Good Friday, that he did it all for my good. Let's not forget, people. Let's not forget. I will be back next week on Tuesday. It'll give me enough time to almost finish my study because I'm on book number 2. I got 2 more books to read after that. I love y'all. Please remember what today means throughout the day, throughout your weekend, and get to church on Easter Sunday. It's that important. I love y'all. We'll see you soon. I'll save you a seat. I'll save you a seat for those that are in the DFW area, the Dallas-Fort Worth area. My church is 3813 West University Drive in Denton, Texas. And that's Friendship Church. We're right on that corner. And church service starts at 10, but we do have a breakfast, an Easter breakfast at 8:30. All right. Okay. I love you all. We'll see you. Bye-bye.